You've probably heard of backpack nukes before, maybe from seeing them in video games or movies. However, what you might not realize is that backpack nukes were not merely a figment of imagination. From the 1950s until the collapse of the Berlin Wall in 1989, they were primed for use by America's secret nuclear units, referred to as green light teams, in case the Cold War took a turn for the worse. Only the most highly trained individuals from the US military were handpicked to be part of the GLTs, stationed near Soviet-controlled Eastern Europe, in South Korea, and even in the vicinity of Iran by the late 1970s. Top recruits for the GLT program included Navy SEALs, Force Recon Marines, Green Berets, and other elite units. Once accepted, recruits were sworn to secrecy, forbidden from even disclosing their mission to their spouses. If the Soviet Union had learned of these teams, they likely would have established a similar program in response, thus undermining the value of possessing GLTs. These operators were trained to speak local languages and dialects, and instructed to dress inconspicuously like ordinary citizens, enabling them to seamlessly blend into their environments without drawing attention. However, the primary focus of their training was mastering the operation of backpack nukes, which they received at the Atomic Demolitions Munitions School. GLT trainees learned how to set off nuclear weapons and conceal them effectively, whether by burying them or disguising them, to ensure they wouldn't be found and disarmed before their intended use. Each GLT member's primary weapon was the B-54 Special Atomic Demolition Munition. The warhead utilized in these devices was sourced from a U.S. Army initiative known as the Davy-Crockett Weapon System. The Davy-Crockett consisted of a recoilless rifle-launched projectile fitted with a W-54 nuclear warhead, boasting a yield equivalent to 10 to 20 tons of TNT. The W-54 was adjusted to detonate with a force ranging from 10 tons of TNT to 1 kiloton. Yet tests showed it could reach over 6 kilotons. Weighing only 51 pounds when fitted into the SADM, it could be carried inconspicuously on an operator's back for long distances. If the situation or mission requirements shifted, GLTs could also airdrop or swim their SADMs into enemy territory without worrying about premature detonation. Furthermore, once the nukes were in their designated blast zones, they could be disguised as anything. People in Eastern Europe or North Korea could casually walk past everyday items like beer kegs, trash cans, or mailboxes, completely unaware that a dangerous SADM was concealed inside, ready to cause devastation. Operators were also taught to bury their backpack nukes up to 9 feet deep underground to ensure they remained hidden and undiscoverable. SADMs could be placed in cities or near lakes or rivers to create artificial obstacles for advancing Soviet forces. Despite the SADM being equipped with a timing mechanism for delayed detonation, permitting operators to evacuate the area, GLT members recognized that if called into action, they were essentially undertaking an extremely dangerous assignment. They'd still have to keep the device hidden from enemy detection, which meant the GLT would have to stay close by. The US military kept its green light teams a closely guarded secret until near the end of the Cold War, when their mission was accidentally revealed to the public. Upon learning that several GLTs were positioned in West Germany, local officials immediately requested the US government to remove all SADMs from German territory. By 1989, the SADMs were retired for good and permanently shut down, never having been used in combat. All active GLT operators were brought back home, and just a few years later, the fall of the Soviet Union marked the end of the Cold War, without either side resorting to detonating any nuclear weapons.